Hello and welcome back, YouTubers. I'm Protomario, and today's video is over a controversial subject matter. So instead of me being alone on this subject matter, I have invited a unbiased third-party person to the conversation. So you will be hearing the voice of Mr.Pheonix, or better known as himself. So I'll let him introduce himself instead of screwing it up myself.
My name is TeknoAXE01, and yeah, that's me. That's who I am. That's my YouTube personality. So,
so if you guys have time, would you be so kind as to head over to his channel, check out his stuff, while I lean down and get my pop filter, unprepared as ever.
The professional setup here.
I'm so good at this. I'm so good at this. This is not a scripted video, if you haven't guessed that by now, but I figure the pop filter will probably fix a lot of the, you know, and the, you know, the thumps and stuff that shouldn't belong here anyways, and you don't want those. So let's hop right into it. This today's subject matter, if you haven't seen the title, whatever I'm gonna call it, is there was an article presented to me quite some time ago, almost a week ago, and I didn't have time to get to it. You know, various things were going on. Numerous YouTube stars admitted to being paid by the publishers. Now, right off the bat, when you see that, you instantly think, oh my god, corporate sellouts. And I would completely agree. It really is. It's terrible what's happening on YouTube. But today we wanted to take a bit of a closer look here and discuss it more before we jump into the whole, oh, they're just corporate scumbags kind of thing. Because I've already given my opinion on it. And a lot of people agree to disagree with me. A lot of people think I just attack big YouTubers, and that's not the case. So, without further ado, Ed, why don't you give us a little bit of a summary of what's going on here?
Well, essentially, publishers are supposedly paying YouTubers to essentially promote their games or review their games, supposedly review their games. And I say that because when any type of transaction takes place, there is the potential that the other party may not be truthful in their reviews. So yeah, what I'm essentially trying to say is that when these guys are reviewing the games, they may not be entirely truthful in what they're saying. It may not be the greatest game ever.
Right, so what you're saying is the next Call of Duty may not, in fact, be a 10 out of 10. As IGN would put it. Oh my god, 9.25. Now, you know, not getting off subject here, but a lot of people will sit here and say Call of Duty's the worst game in the world, Halo's the worst game in the world, or whatever. They'll sit here and they'll demonize these games that come out, say that they're terrible and this and that. But seriously, there are seriously broken games out there. There are seriously bad games, not, you know, Call of Duty bad.
Yeah.
It works. You turn the game on, nothing's inherently broken. You have the controller in your hands, everything works. There are games that don't do that, and they get reviewed by IGN. But there are games that always fall in the middle, and it always seems like when you see a game that's getting hyped up real bad, you know people are getting paid off to do this. You know people are getting paid off.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense when you see it from a corporation. Okay, IGN's obviously getting paid off to do it because they wouldn't waste their time if they weren't getting paid because they're a business. But when you see a YouTube personality do it, you're always questioning whether or not they were paid off to do it, or if they're genuinely interested in it. And therein lies what the article is discussing. It had several people interviewed, about 42, all with over 5,000 subscribers to their channel. And it said, of those 42 people, 11 admitted receiving money directly or indirectly from the game developers or publishers for recording videos of their games. And that is the issue that a lot of people are getting stirred up about.
And I can totally understand that. I mean, my perspective on it is that I personally would never accept money to review a game, but I would accept a review copy of the game. Now, in my eyes, that is still a transaction. I'm still essentially being paid to review that game by them sending me the game and me being able to keep it. So yeah, that's, I mean, my take on it is that's what I personally would do in that situation. I wouldn't want to exchange money.
Right, and I agree almost wholeheartedly with that. The only difference is that a lot of the time when a company will approach me, which it doesn't happen a lot. So when I say a lot of the time, I mean like of the less than 5 times it's occurred. The game that they present to me isn't like it's hard. It's hard because, you know, all games are nice, all games are fun, but some games are better than others. So if a company like EA gives me Battlefield Hardline, okay, I may be more inclined and happy to review it than, let's say, Dark Souls 2, because I hate Dark Souls 2 and I like Battlefield better. But on the flip side, if a company like Nintendo gave me a Pokemon game to review, I would be way happier to do that than I would for EA or Dark Souls 2. And that's my point here. You know, while you're getting something, it's not necessarily something that you would want to begin with, but also the fact that if you're upfront and honest about what you're doing, what you're getting, you know, if you're doing a review, I recently reviewed a Game Boy Advance that was custom, backlit, things like this, from a retro 8-bit site, and I said, this is a review copy. They sent me a review copy, and they gave me a promo code for their website, 10% off all their stuff. They're sending me a t-shirt, they're sending me something else too, like a hacked ROM to play, and it's nice, but I'm not deceiving anyone with what I'm doing here. This was a review unit, you know. I didn't say, well, I just stumbled upon this unit and no one in the world was, you know, telling me or asking me to review it. But by the way, if you go over here and just happen to type in Protomario, you might get 10%. Like, come on, man, really? Like, you can't even be be serious.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is, my perspective is that obviously if you're open and honest with your audience, and you say, I got sent this review copy, so I'm gonna review this. I think that builds trust with your audience, and these YouTubers that are doing things like accepting cash for their reviews,
cash bribes.
It really, from my perspective, it's insulting to the audience. It's really deceptive, and you should cherish your audience and not treat people like that. And the whole idea of an individual reviewing a game on YouTube is that a lot of people have built up trust in you, so they trust in what you're saying. And if you're saying that a game is amazing and it really isn't from your perspective, then you're really doing a disservice to your own community that you've built, and that's really wrong in my eyes.
Right, it's just like White Boy 7th Street. Like, okay, I'm not picking him because I don't like him, I'm not picking him because I like him. I'm picking him because he almost exclusively does Call of Duty videos, or did. I haven't seen him in a long time.
He still does that.
Okay, so let's say he just all of a sudden got Modern Warfare, Advanced Warfare. Do you think if he was asked to review that, he will give it a bad rating or a good rating? Obviously, his audience is Call of Duty, and if he's being paid, he's gonna give a good rating. But, you know, these people, these companies, these indie developers, when they send out their games, they target individuals like this. If they know you do a certain thing, then of course they're going to send you things. Of course they're going to do this. It's almost like America with lobbyists. I know you're not from this country, Ed, but basically lobbyists run this country. If you have enough money, you can get almost any law passed if you're smart enough, if you lobby enough. So it's funny, you know, that it's almost the same way. If you have enough money from developing your game, let's say you put $1.5 million into a game, if you happen to have 500 grand to advertise it, you're probably going to have a successful game. On the flip side, if you don't have any advertising revenue, no one's going to give an F about your game.
Of course, and I will say, I'll bring up the game Watch Dogs.
Oh God!
Yeah, that was one of those games they put a lot of money into advertising, and a lot of gamers jumped on that bandwagon. And it really, I'm not sure of which games companies or publishers paid these YouTubers. I don't know the exact companies, but I'm guessing that Ubisoft is probably one of them. I say probably because it is just a guess, and you know, I don't want to slander Ubisoft there, but that's my theory on it, because there was a lot of coverage of Watch Dogs. Yeah,
don't go slamming a big company that gimped the PC version. Don't do that, Ed.
They really did, and I'm not sure if you're aware, but a couple of gamers have got together and they're filing a class action lawsuit against Ubisoft because of the graphical effects of Watch Dogs. They did what a lot of games companies do, which is when they first show the game, they make the game look very good and super amazing and brilliant, and the graphics look excellent, and then when it comes to the game, it really isn't that great.
Yep. Yeah, I know all about that. It's misdirection and misleading.
Yes.
And that flows right into what we're talking about right now. So I think I'm going to close this out on one more example, and then we'll have our final thoughts. I was contacted, and I say this, and this is honesty. I don't get a lot of offers to do this. Now, a lot of people might say, well, Proto, people just don't like you, or, well, Proto, you know, you just suck, or this and that. And that's fine. If you think that, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You know, the companies that do contact me, they do send me stuff. I work with individuals like 7 Hunters, and these contests go over without a hitch, but a lot of people don't want to give up that money. Like, I contacted Stone Age Gamer, and they said, yeah, we're willing to work with you, and I asked them just for Retron 5 review unit, and I never ever got it, and obviously they didn't contact me, they didn't do anything, so if that's how they feel, that's fine. You know, they don't want to send me anything, that's fine. I'm not bitter about it. It's just that there's a case right there. But I was contacted by some Russian gaming company that made an MMORPG. It's on Steam. It's not like one of the top ones.
Right.
But it's there. I'm not going to say the name because, you know, there's no reason to call people out. Yeah. I don't want you to go out and get the game either. But when they asked me to do it, I was a bit leery about it. They said they would pay me $75 for a review and $75 for every video after. Literally, this is cash money. They said they'd drop it in my hands. And I looked up the game, and a lot of people were saying it's pay to win, it's garbage. And then I started seeing a bunch of videos where it looked like the people were just doing it for money. You could tell because they were like, oh yeah, this is an MMORPG. They wouldn't say anything good about it, but they wouldn't say anything bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, man, really, man? Really, man? So, okay. I obviously didn't do that because I don't have anything like that. I don't have a lot of MMORPGs. Diablo 3 is my favorite one. It's probably the only one I will play for quite some time. So what I'm saying is true. Once again, I try to be upfront and honest. But my final thoughts on this, I'm quite sure you're going to be there with me, Mr.Pheonix. It comes down to your integrity. What morals are you willing to compromise? Again, not calling out anyone, but JonTron sang on a Pepsi commercial. Now, JonTron does nothing with Pepsi. His channel is not oriented around Pepsi. His channel is about gaming. And I could do it with anyone else. I could say Joe Schmo, who has 150,000 subscribers, just sang the national anthem for a Pepsi commercial. And he has nothing to do with Pepsi. It doesn't matter the name. It doesn't matter who. It just matters if they're selling out, quote unquote. So the question is, do you feel that's a sellout? Do you feel him singing a Pepsi national anthem for a baseball game commercial? Do you feel that's selling out or not?
Well,
and why?
I would say in that circumstance, I don't feel like it's selling out. The reason being is because everybody knows that you get paid in commercials, that no one's in a commercial because they want to do it for nothing. Like everybody knows that you're getting paid there, and it's pretty obvious. So I would say that it isn't selling out, because although he has nothing to do with Pepsi or Coke, whoever it was, although he has nothing to do with them, it's pretty obvious that they've paid him to do it. And in those types of commercials, everybody knows that you can't trust commercials 100% anyway. So it's almost kind of like an open form of dishonesty. So you know that they're lying to you, but because you know that they're lying to you, you really shouldn't fall for it, you know?
Yeah, it's almost like those 90s commercials with the basketball players like Michael Jordan and Charles. Nope. No name.
It's gone.
Anyways, you know, they would get the Jordans. They'd be like, Air Jordans. You put these suckers on, you can jam, slam dunk, son. And then you'd get the shoes, and you'd jump like an inch off the ground and be like, God damn it, Michael.
I had a pair of Air Jordans.
So, that's kind of what it is. But, alright then, final words. Pheonix, do you have anything else you'd like to say? Any other examples before we cut out?
I would like to add that personally, I believe that you should try and be as open and as honest as you can, within reason, with your audience. And these YouTubers that are doing what they're doing, in my eyes, it's wrong. You should respect your audience enough not to sell them out. Like in the case, as you said, with the company that you was dealing with, the Russian company, you're not going to sell your audience out for $75 a video. They're obviously worth a lot more to you, and like for me, it's the same sort of deal. But you know, I just believe in that level of honesty with your audience, as much as you can possibly be honest and safe, then you should be, you know. So.
Right, and I feel almost the same way. It's almost like when you do something like that, you're basing your audience's value on how much you're paid. And so many people sit here and make the argument, well, YouTubers have to make an ends meet too. I'm not saying that, but how different is being a YouTube star than being on TV? On TV, you would have commercials on your show, so I don't have a problem with that. However, the thing is, you yourself, if you were making a show on TV, the odds of one of those commercials being you yourself endorsing it, like you stopped the show and said, oh, by the way, I just really love baked beans. Bush's baked beans are the best beans on the planet. And it wouldn't make sense. So I kind of compare YouTube to that, because you wouldn't stop your show and just suddenly do that.
Of course not. Yeah, I understand.
Right.
It. Yeah.
And people still need to make ends meet. I'm not denying them that. What I am denying is that when a game company comes to you and says, review our game, give it a good rating, and we'll give you money and a free game, and you say, yep, and you say Call of Duty Generic Warfare 7 was the best. I got the golden LMG that shot nuclear bullets into the transforming helicopters. It was the best, 10 out of 10. I can't believe my eyes. And then your friends your colleagues, your subscribers get it, and they play it, and now you're shit. Now you're absolutely shit, because it's not 10 out of 10. It's 7 out of 10. It's 8 out of 10. It's average.
Yeah.
And you just hyped it up for no reason.
And you damaged your image and the trust that you have between your audience. And that's not something that I would ever personally advise anybody to do, and it's not something that I would ever do myself. I wouldn't sell my audience out like that, and I feel very disappointed in the YouTube gaming community right about now for that, because I thought that there was a lot more nicer people than that, really. I thought people actually respected their audience. Maybe that's a bit naive of me, but that's it's a bit disappointing. So I hope that the trend doesn't continue on, but unfortunately it does seem to be the case, because they will probably start doing it again. Various other companies try it constantly, from what you've told me. So there are unfortunately going to be elements of the gaming community that will fall for that will sell out their audience. Right.
And that's sad. So I'm Protomario, I'm signing out, and big thanks for Ed jumping in on this. I literally gave him 1 minute's notice, and he has weighed in quite well. So I want you all to know, this is what I do. I don't get a big, we don't get together and we're not like, okay, let's get this perfect, guys. Let's scheme on them. Let's make sure that we say the right things. Let's not piss off anyone. This was like we had like maybe 7 minutes preparation before we started recording.
This was like shock and awe here. He just stuck the microphone in my face and just asked me questions.
Yep. Alright, so Ed, go ahead and tell them about your channel before we cut the video.
Okay, I'll be as quick as I can for you guys, but as I said, my name is Mr.Pheonix01. I make videos on GTA primarily at the moment, and I do have plans in the future to move across to PC and PS4, and we also hold discussions like we're having here with Protomario.
Okay, so thanks for weighing in, Mr. Pheonix, and I will see you subscribers next time. And now comes the all-important decision of supporting the Maverick Army. Join the Maverick Rebellion today. Subscribe and become a Maverick. We are a tight-knit community who desire to change the gaming stereotype into something better. Together, we will revolutionize the world of gaming and the way gaming is viewed on YouTube and across all platforms. Mavericks unite. Subscribe today and become a Maverick with us. I'm Protomario, and I approve this message.